This is Super Putty for the Amiga CD32, and here's the rest of it. As I always say, I keep these sometimes out of the actual jewel case because the damage can be done if they're any thicker than just a couple of pages, so that's why. Let's put that there. It's a wonderful game. Most Amiga fans will have heard of it anyway. It did come out on other formats as well, so look at that for a front cover. I always remember this guy just tearing through the background saying just missed him, and then laughing and then disappearing again. It certainly was groundbreaking of its time. The actual mechanics as well, maybe not so much the level itself, but certainly little details, as I just said, with the cat sort of bursting through the scenery just to make mockery of you. Let's have a look at the back. Well, first of all, for this, yeah, as I always say, it sums it up, but that is terrific artwork. Can't fault it, really. To me, the System 3 logo at the bottom left, I actually prefer the old original System 3 logo. Probably because I grew up with Last Ninja, etc. Terrific logo, but anyway, it's certainly stylish. Let's have a look at the back. I remember it says a few details about it, but not too much. Try and get this into focus there. So, the game of immense playability, the character of immense pliability. Forget about hacking. Well, with slaying, punching and kicking, it's time to inflate, stretch and bounce your way through a very weird and wonderful world. Take on the shape-shifting form of Super Putty and rescue the robot guards, then send them safely for repairs on Putty Moon. I believe Putty Moon it's the game's name in Japan. It did come out on other formats. I've actually seen it with SNES or SNES. There's a debate going on. I always call it SNES, but I'm saying SNES. I think it's preferred. For Japan, released that way. But certainly, yeah, Super Putty, Putty Moon, etc. 95%. It's easily the best platform game I've ever played. Let's try and get this somewhere there. I've ever played, and certainly in the running for the best game ever on any computer, Amiga format, and it was awarded a Format Gold. That's quite a statement. And then from Commodore User Amiga, they gave it a Superstar Award. 95% again. One of the best games ever, an instant classic. So I remember the reviews. I don't think it ever got any drab reviews. Since then as well, it's worth noting, I can't remember the name. Is it New Putty or so? There is a sequel finally came out. I think they actually had it to come out back in the day. It never did. And then finally, with the help of a Kickstarter, I believe, it came out on different formats. So if you do some research on that, there was eventually a sequel. Or as I say, it may have just been postponed and never came out back in the day, maybe a few years after this. It says there 94, which finally came out, which is wonderful. So if you're into this game, you know of it, and you don't know of this quiet sequel that finally came out, please check that out. So we've got a little bit down here. Inflate your ego and stretch your imaginations as Super Putty. Be super slick. So yeah, it is certainly an original platform game. The CD as well there. I just remember this guy bursting through always and laughing, making mockery, as I said. So the manual, let's have a look. Bit of a background story there. I may read this during manual reads. Something I'm planning to do, but I really don't want to push copyright and things. It should be fine, but it's something I'm thinking about doing because some of these stories are terrific and sorely missed, because in this day and age where everyone downloads the ROM, not many actually get the manual. So there's a variety of levels, as you can see. Explains about the game, explains how to operate. There you go. That's a rough idea of just how pliable Putty himself is. I remember having a demo of this on disc, courtesy of one of the, I think probably several, but one of the magazines back then. It was certainly fun, even just in demo form. There are a lot of collectibles and bad guys, etc. in this. So there we go. I'll be giving that a playthrough through in the future, but just for now I wanted to get the box out of the way. Super Putty, or Putty Moon if you happen to be in Japan, for the Amiga CD32.